Hello, everybody. Hello. I am calling all the children in the universe from 0 to 16 years old. Come with your parents. Come on. From 0 to 16 years old. Come on with your parents. We are going to do a lecture today. That's why I'm sitting down because we're going to do a lecture and I'm going to be reading the Constitution. So come on, children and parents from 0 to 16 years old. Come on to Miss Yvonne platform. Come on, children. Give you time to get here. Come on, children. Come on, children. Come on, children. We're going to learn the Constitution today. Come on, children. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, I'm glad to have you here. We're going to start out by me saying a prayer. God, I'm coming here today to ask you to bless the children in the universe, God. I'm asking you to protect and secure all children in the universe, God. God, I'm asking you to protect and secure these kids for anybody or anything that we should do these children harm, God. God, I'm asking you to take these children and put them on the path that you wish them to go, God. Teach them the way, God. God, I'm asking you to protect and secure these kids all during the day and all during the night, God. I'm asking you for anybody or anything that wish to do these kids any harm to pick them up, God. Pick it up, God, and turn it around or turn whatever it persons that wish to do these kids in harm around, God, and set them on a different path, God. Thank you, God. Amen. Now I'm about to read you the Constitution of the United States of America. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Article 1, Section 1. All legislation powers herein granted should be vested in the Congress of the United States with shared consent of a Senate and House of Representatives. Section 2. The House of Representatives should be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state should have the qualification requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person should be a representative who should not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who should not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes should be apportioned among the several states which may be included within the Union according to their respective numbers, which should be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indian not taxed 3/5 of all other persons. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they should by law direct. The number of representatives should not exceed one for every 30,000, but each state should have at least one representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantation 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof should issue writs of election to fill such vacancy. The House of Representatives should choose their speaker and other officers, and should have the sole power of impeachment. The Senate, Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The Senate of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, of the second class of the expiration of the 4th year, and of the 3rd class of the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every 2nd year, and if vacancy happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislation of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislation, which should then fill such vacancy. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their other officers, and also a President pro tempore in the absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments, When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath affirmation when the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person should be convicted without the concurrence of two-thirds of the members present. Judgment in cases of impeachment should not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States, but the party convicted should nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to the law. Section 4. The times, places, and the manner of holding elections for senators and representatives should be prescribed in each state by the legislation thereof, by the Congress may and at any time by law make up after such regulation, except to the places of choosing senators. The Congress should assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting should be on the first Monday in December the 5th, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section 5. Hold on, drinking some water. Break for water. My mouth dry. Oh, excuse me for a minute. Drinking water. Section 5. Number 1. Each house shall be the judge of the election, returns and qualification of its own members, and the majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. Number 2. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of two-thirds, expel a member. Number 3. Each house should keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, except in such part as may in their judgment require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of the members of either house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Section 6. Number 1. The senators and representatives should receive a compensation for their services, to be ascertained by law and paid out of the treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the section of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. I touched something, so you're tired. She just takes her homeschool real serious, so that's why. She's gotta get home to the kid and get him going, so. Take care. Yeah. Hi, I'm Tom. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, Dwayne Perkins. I'm here at Comedy Central's Clusterfest. I'm backstage with I touched something, y'all. Be patient. I touched something, so. See, that's what the devil trying to send you on another path. I want you to hear about the articles. Ain't that something? Well, we're on number 6. Number 6, number 2. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which should have been created, or the emoluments whereof should have been increased during such time. And no person holding any office of the United States should be a member of either house during the continuance in office. Section 7, number 1. All bills for raising revenue should originate in the House of Representatives, but Senate may propose of concur with amendments as on other bills. Number 2. Every bill which should have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate should therefore it become a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he should sign it. But if not, he should return it, with his objection to that house in which it should have originated, who shall enter the objection at large on their journal, and proceed to reconsider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that house should agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent together with objections to the other house, by which it should likewise be reconsidered. And if approved by 2/3 of that house, it should become a law. But in all such cases, the votes of both houses should be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the person voting for and against the bill should be entered on the journal of each house respectively. If any bill should not be returned by the president within 10 days, Sunday excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the Senate should be the same should be a law, in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevent it return, in which case it should not be a law. Number 3. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, should be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same should take effect should be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, should be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. Section 8. Number 1. The Congress should have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and exercise to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and exercises should be uniform throughout the United States. Number 2. To borrow money on the credit of the United States. Number 3. To regulate commerce with foreign nations among the several states and with the Indian tribes. Number 4. To establish a uniform rules of naturalization and uniform laws on subject of bankruptcy throughout the United States. Number 5. To coin money, regulate the value thereof in the foreign coins, and fix the standards of weight and measurables. Number 6. To provide for the punishment of counterfeiting and securities and current coins of the United States. Number 7. To establish post office and post rolls. Number 8. To promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing to limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive rights to their respective writings and discoveries. Number 9. To constitute tribunal inferior to the Supreme Court. Number 10. Lord, here we go again. Oh, Lordy. Hold up a second, y'all. Okay, number 10. To define and punish privacies and felonies committed on the high seas and offense against the law or nation. Number 11. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisals, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. Number 12. To raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use should be for a longer term than 2 years. Number 13, to provide and maintain a navy. Number 14, to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. Number 15, to provide for calling forth the militant to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repair invasions. Number 16, to provide for organizing army and disciplining the militant, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the military according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. Number 17, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such districts not exceeding 10 miles squares, as may, by section of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, become the seat of the government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places, purchased by the consent of the legislation of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, docks, yards, and other needful buildings. And number 18, to make all laws which should be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other power vested by the Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department of office thereof. Section 9. Number 1. The migration importation of such persons as any other states not existing should think proper to admit should not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808 by a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. Number 2, the privilege of the writing of habeas corpus should not be suspended, unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law should be passed. No capitation of other direct tax should be laid unless in proportion to the ceases or enumeration herein therefore directed to be taken. Number 5, no tax or duty should be laid on articles exported from any state. Number 6, no preference should be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those of another. Now should vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. Number 7, no money should be drawn from the treasury but in consequence of appropriation made by law. And a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money should be published from time to time. Number 8, no title or nobility should be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, except any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. Number 10, no state should enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters, or marque and well, REPRISAL. Okay, then coin money, emit bills or credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, exports, facto law, a law impairing the obligation of contracts of grant any title or nobility. No state shall, without the consent of the Congress, lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection law, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports should be for the use of the treasury of the United States, and all such laws should be subject to the revision and control of the of the Congress. Control of the Congress. Number 3, no state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, engaged in war, unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit or delay. Article 2, Section 1. The executive power should be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold the office during a term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislation thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives, to which the state may be entitled in Congress, but no senator or representative of person holding an office or trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. The electors should meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least should not be inhabitant of the same state with themselves, and they should make a list of all persons voted for, and of the number of votes for each which list they should sign and certify, and transmit sealed to the seal of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate should, and the President of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes should then be counted. The persons having the greatest number of votes should be the President. If such number be a majority of which whole number in electors appointed, and if there be more than one who have such majority and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives should immediately choose by ballot one of them for President. If no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest on the list, the said House should in like manner choose the President. But in choosing the President, the vote should be taken by states. The representative from each state having one vote, a quorum for this purpose should consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the President, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors should be the Vice President. But if there shall be remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate should choose from them by ballot the Vice President. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the date on which they should give their votes, which day should be the same throughout the United States. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution should be eligible to the office of President. Neither should any person be eligible to the office who should not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. In the case of the removal of the President from the office of his death, resignation of inability to discharge the powers and duties of said office, The same should devolve in the vice president, and the Congress may, by law, provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the president and vice president. Declaring when officers should then act as president, and such officers should be act accordingly until the disability be removed, or a president should be elected. The president should, at stated time, receive for the service a compensation which should neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he should have been elected, and he should not receive within the period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. Before he enters on the on the execution of his office, he should take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear, affirm, and I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Then next is Section 2. Section 2. Okay. He shall have power by and with the advice and consent of the United States to make treaties. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, number 3. The president should have power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commission, which should expire at the end of the next section. Section 3. He should, from time to time, give to Congress information of the state of the Union and recommend to the consideration of such measures as he should judge necessary and independent. Section 4 is about the president and stuff. So that's all I wanted to read some of the Constitution to you. I have read some. You can go to the libraryofcongress.com and find the Constitution. Thank you. Bye-bye.